Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Cattle-Lackie. Yeah, here we are. We're still in the same day, still in February or September. Sorry about that. Don't I wish we were in February? It feels like Groundhog Day in this series all of a sudden. Again, I do apologize. Just a lot to do here, just to kind of get things off the ground. So we got this big field baled. And ended up with about 95 bales out of this thing. So we're getting those collected right now. As you can see, I'm working really, really hard there. We're not done baling yet. We still have some more work to do with the baler. Still another field to bale, and still part of that one to finish. However, we are out of baling twine. So here we go. We are off to the shop to purchase some twine. Hopefully this time I won't have it delivered to the farm. Made a few changes off camera. I have, let's just say, leveled the playing field with regard to the food consumption where the cows are concerned. More on that in a minute. As I said, I'm sorry that we're still stuck in September here, but there is a lot I want to get done. I want to get these fields baled. I do want to get started on chopping some of this corn. I'm not really sure how much of it we're going to chop, but we really do need to start making some silage, in our silo. So I'd like to start chopping that corn. In addition to that, in October, that stuff's going to be ready to harvest, so we're going to have to get that done as well, get that in the silo for sale at a later date. And again, I wouldn't be doing this except for the fact that I meant to set this game to 2-day months, and in my haste to get started, I neglected to change it. So I think we're only going to get 1 day in September, and then we're going to move on to October, when I had originally planned to get 2 days in September. There is a lot I want to get done. As I said, I want to get that corn cut. I also want to get these grass fields limed, and possibly fertilized. Although I am going to plow them out, replant them, or possibly plant something else in them, I do want to get that done before we move on to October, because I would like the opportunity to potentially get maybe another cutting or a partial cutting off of those grass fields before winter sets in. So that's kind of where we're at. Brief recap. Again, we're headed to the shop. We need some more bale twine for the crone. We'll get that loaded up and get the crone back in service. As I said, we got 95 bales off of that big field, which is pretty good. Incidentally, after we were last together, I did some quick kind of back of the envelope math. With the food consumption being the way that it was, I was going to need roughly 260 bales of hay to get through winter. And knowing that I got 95 off of that field, yeah, that's not 260. And even though we may get another cutting or a partial cutting, I don't know that we would have enough to get through the spring. So yeah, we made an adjustment. Like I said, more on that later. Okay, let's get in here, get a couple pallets of twine, and get back to the farm so that we can get this show on the road. Alrighty. Okay, pallets. Twine grown. Here we go. And we need one. And we may as well get 2 while we're here, since 1 didn't quite fill it the last time. Let's get over here. Our bale trailer is full. Alrighty. Interestingly enough, I think I can pick these up, but it's a little cheaty, huh? Tell you what, let's try this here skid steer and see what it looks like. There we go. Not too bad. For whatever reason, I am not much of a skid steer user. don't have anything against them. I just, for whatever reason, don't use them. Perhaps I ought to consider doing so. Zoom in a bit more. Okay. And typically when I do use them, I buy those cheap ones, the cheap John Deere, the cheap Massey Ferguson, the one that makes a whole bunch of noise and it does. It flies all over the screen. This one has a lot more positive control. Yeah, pretty nice. Suppose you get what you pay for, right? Oh. Okay. Forgive my pallet loading skills. I am not the most adept or the most accomplished where this is concerned. We'll say one thing. This is significantly easier to operate than that. Significantly easier to operate than the telehandler when it comes to loading and unloading a truck. All right. Excellent. Perfect. Let's go park you back up. And get back to the farm. I do want to get that crone over there. And finish up the baling on that field. If you recall, the last time we were together, I had mentioned that there's a setting inside of Courseplay that essentially allows you to raise the tools, the implements, either early or late. And whoa, about determined to drive out into the country. To raise the implements early or late, and for whatever reason, the default setting is to raise the implements early and lower them late, which to me is confoundingly backwards. So I always set them to do just the opposite, to raise late and lower early. Well, in my haste to get that field windrowed, I forgot to change that setting for the John Deere tractor, because you have to do it individually for each vehicle that you're using on Courseplay, because it would make too much sense to just have a global setting. Anyway, not that I'm bitter about it or anything. Anyway, I neglected to change the settings, so I ended up with an extra scattering or smattering, an extra windrow essentially of loose material. So I had to windrow it so that I can run the baler back over it, although, as I said, I ran out of twine. So all right. Whoa. Boy, for whatever reason, my controller, I am a controller person. I do not use mouse and keyboard. I've noticed that this controller I have with certain vehicles is really, really touchy. Yeah, I'm sure I could probably set the sensitivity of it somehow, but I'm not smart enough to do that. So I'll just struggle and make you bob and weave across the screen with me. Okay. I noticed all the content creators that I follow, both big and small, are starting to see a good number of notifications from them as they're starting, feverishly starting series saying, last series for FS22. So everyone is getting ready to tidy up and put FS22 to bed in anticipation of the release of 25. I actually saw a content creator / modder kind of lament the arrival of FS25, and I was shocked. and he was in a live stream, and he was commenting, and he said, yeah, he goes, I had way too much planned for FS22 that I haven't finished yet. He goes, I wish they'd stick with it for another year. And I thought to myself, yeah, you and how many other people. Oh well. I'm interested to know, since we will start out FS25 without any modded maps, with no mods period at all, and no gameplay mods, no modded vehicles. We're not going to have. Yeah, we'll have the AI, which I'm looking forward to seeing how enhanced that all is. But I'm just curious whether or not any content creators might, even though they will likely begin producing content for 25, if any of them would consider continuing to kind of wrap up content for 22 while they're still, or while they're producing content for 25. Whoop. Okay. Let's do a little bit better job with that. Me again, not being able to do two things at once. Okay. Getting to be a mess here. I've got stuff laying all over the place. I need my menu. Refill baler. R. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. So it filled it, but it didn't empty the... No, whatever. So as you can see, in total, we've produced 100 and... Oh, I guess I did produce more than 95 bales. What the heck am I talking about? Yeah, there were 144 on that field in total. So, yeah, 150 with the 6 that we did that were over here. Well, in fact, they're still over there. By the way, I did purchase the appropriate auto load bale spike. That thing's pretty slick. You set it to auto load, you have to drive all the way up to the bale, and it jumps right on, but you have to approach it from the side. You can't approach it from the end, and it jumps right onto the bale spike. So I suppose if you really wanted to play with some realism but still have the benefit of auto load, I suppose one could simply use the auto load bale spike, bring all of the bales like to a central collection point, and then stack them all up and then load them with an auto load trailer. Yeah, okay, whatever. Here I am again, justifying the fact that I just really don't like to load bales. I really need to do it. It's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get. I used to loathe logging for that very reason. It was so cumbersome. The controls were just clunky. I just felt like it took forever. But I was on a couple series where I really had to log. I mean, if I wanted to progress, I had to cut down trees. And once I got into a rhythm with it, I'm like, wow, don't look now, but I'm actually doing pretty good. But don't get excited. You're not going to see me do any logging. Not on this series. I had kicked around the idea of doing a survival series, and maybe I will. I don't know. I suppose it's something that you don't necessarily... I don't necessarily think that I have to wait until 25 comes out to do something like that. There we go. I could probably start one in 22, and as I said, just kind of carry it over into the introduction of 25. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I will. But it would definitely be on a map where wood chips sell well. It's coming slow, but I didn't want to waste it. So we've got one strip here on this end and then one on the other end, and then we need to take this baler down to the other field and start baling down there. Raise the pickup. And there's our bale trailer, and it's full. So great. Looks like we're going to be doing a few loads of that, huh? Not necessarily sure how much of that I'm going to subject you to. After we get this baling underway on the other field, I do want to move on to buying a forage harvester and header and getting on to chopping corn. That was one of the understandings I came to with JD. I said, we need to cut some of this corn. It's going to cost you $500,000. It's funny. All I have to do is have those conversations with him. His eyes roll back into his head, and he just runs back into the house. Oh, another reason why I am kind of clinging to September here is because I haven't had the opportunity to show you my homestead yet and the things that we have going on there. But it's kind of crucial that I don't lose any time. There are some things that I need to get underway there sooner rather than later, and I don't want to wait until October to do it because I'll miss out on an opportunity to potentially make some money. Okay, so oh shoot, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to unload baler, not unload twine. Ugh, seriously, I didn't know you could do that. I mean, why would you want to? It's not like a it's not like a fertilizer spreader, or that you might want to swap out the lime and a fertilizer. Well, I would think once the twine's in there, you'd want to leave it in there. Well, no, I guess if you wanted to sell the baler, yeah, you want to keep your twine. Yeah, whatever. Funny how particular I am not when I'm spending someone else's money. Okay, let's get over to the other field. And, whoop, sorry, car. Oops. All right. Course rake bale, 109. Load, activate, and go. Oh, it's over there. Okay. And go. 22 minutes. Not long at all. Okay, let's let that bad boy work. We'll jump over here to our bale loader. Fire it up. And, yeah, head for the barn. Unload these bales, bring this back over, wash, rinse, repeat. So I had a total of 144 bales. This is my second load, so this is 60. So wow, still got about 80 left. So 2.5 more loads. Wow. And when you look at that field, it looks like all of that and more. Trying to figure out which of these fields I'm going to cut corn in. There's a small one over there. I may do that one, and then part of one of these bigger ones, or who knows, maybe all of one of these bigger ones. This one here to our left is probably the second smallest. So maybe I'll do that small one that's over there where that first grass field was, and then do this field here and see where we're at, and then just harvest to that big cornfield up there where all those hills are. That looks like that's going to be a little fun anyway, either with a forage harvester or a traditional combine. Oh, and as I said, as I've already mentioned a couple times, this is going to be the last day that we're in this month. I am going to make sure that we're able to move on after this, even if it means this ends up being a little bit longer of an episode. So bear with me. Feel free to hit pause. I'm going to have to talk to JD about getting some access here on this side of the farm. Be a lot simpler than driving all the way around, huh? Need an excavator and some rock and gravel. Maybe a great project for over the winter. Perfect. The trailer fits just inside the stripes. Unload here, and boom, done. Okay. Real quick before we move on, I had mentioned that I made some adjustments. So let me just kind of go through with you real quick what we did there. So as you recall, before, the animals were going to require roughly 105,000 liters of food a day, and our pen held a whopping 60. Well, again, I did some back of the envelope math. That was going to be incredibly painful. So I found the animals XML file that is utilized by the Enhanced Animal System mod. I accessed it and I found where the food consumption was listed. So, and I made some adjustments. And hopefully I'm not confusing anybody here. And when I tried to explain this to JD, as I said, his eyes rolled back into his head and he ran in the house. I thought he would have been happy. I'm saving him some money, turning some product that would have otherwise been consumed into profit, but no, he just wasn't hearing it. So anyway, so this is what we ended up with. The total food capacity is already down to 41,000. But you'll see the daily food requirement is down to about 62,000. So essentially what I did was I didn't cut it in half, but I cut it by about 40%. And then the yearly food consumption is 1.4 million instead of like a 2.0 something. So anyway, that will give us a little bit of a cushion. We won't quite be consuming as much. I wouldn't be opposed to where it was at if all I was doing, if this was exclusively a series dedicated to raising animals and raising cattle. But there's a lot of other stuff we want to do. We're also gonna farm for JD, and we have designs and desires on building our own farm. So I don't want to spend every episode or prepping for every episode by having to spend a bunch of time feeding animals. Although feeding them on a daily basis is something that's obviously very realistic. I mean, it's something that people who own cattle deal with. And again, so you'll notice here the food capacity says 41,000. You're saying, wow, that's low. Capacity was 60,000. Well, yeah, it was, but I have bumped it up. So it is now 160,000, because that's the other thing. Even at this consumption rate of 62,000 liters a day, we still would not have had enough capacity to feed these animals during the course of one day. And I don't want to have to feel obligated to get up in the middle of the night to feed these cows because we can't make it till morning. So I have adjusted both the food consumption amount along with the total capacity of the cow shed itself. And I've done it for both the female Holsteins, and you'll notice here the female Angus. Now I did not change their food capacity in their pen, as it is more than sufficient for what we're doing here now, but I did reduce their consumption. Now I did not reduce the consumption for the bulls. I kept them where they are. That may or may not change as we get more and more males in our finishing pasture. If we seem to be getting overwhelmed with consumption in there, I may have to go in and make an adjustment, but I would prefer not to. Okay, long-winded explanation. I'm exhausted. My voice is crackly. So let's get this bad boy back to the field and get back to collecting hay. All right, back to the grind. Continuing to collect our bales here on this field. And let's see, what else do we have going? Ah, yes. Continue baling this field. And it looks like we're well underway. Not too far from being finished. Okay, on to other things. So what are we doing next? Well, we're going to do some shopping. Let's get into the store here. Forage harvesters. Okay. So let's see. We've got a lot of stuff in here, but you know what? Why not? Somebody else's money, other people's money. So we're going for the big one. And we'll just go standard tires. We don't need GPS. That we do not need. Okay. And purchase. All right. And one of those is useless without one of these. Okay, what do we have here? I think I know which one I want. I don't know where it is. Is this it? 9 meters? Yes, I believe it was. Okay, buy that. Yes. And we have one big trailer, but I think we're going to go ahead and buy another one. So, trailers. For some reason, I have a thing for trailers. I'm always looking for trailers, and I downloaded so many mods that I have never used. Oh, boy. I'd like to know how many mods I've downloaded, period, that I've never used. I think this is the one I want. Yes, wheel setup. I think I like these better. Absolutely wide tires. Do we need one of those? I don't think we need one of those. Okay. And we don't need a license plate. Whoops. And purchase that. Okay. Well, here we go. All right. I don't think I'm going to mess with the silage additive. We've got so much corn to chop. As it is, I don't think we've got enough fermenting silo space for all the corn that we can possibly chop. We may be adding a new fermenting silo as well. Okay, we're back and ready to get started. Let's see. Let's unfold this here header. Let's see how much difficulty I'm going to have with this exercise. Pipe out. Okay. Open back door. Huh. Oh. I'll be darned. Lower header. Turn on header. All right. And nice. Works. Excellent. Okay, let's see if we can get Courseplay to do this for us. Boy, I hope so. All right. Field looks good. Okay, excellent. 9 meters. Let's bring it down to one tool. Number of headland. We're going to do, I think we're going to do 4. Let's do 4. Let's do, you know what? I'm going to do 5, and I'm going to overlap them pretty well. Now I shouldn't have to. If I do sharp, I shouldn't have to overlap them so much. Okay. So interrupt down. Rows to skip. We'll do 1. Field margin, I'll leave it at 0. Generate. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, that's... Ooh. It's field 1. Let's see, what is that? 117. Okay. Create new folder. Save course. 117. Okay. Back. Whoop. Ah. All right. Back. Start. And let's see what we got here. Holy buckets. It's going to take 13 hours and 39 minutes to complete this. Okay then. Well, interestingly enough, candidly, I don't know that we're going to let it go that long. I don't think we have the capacity in our fermenting silo for all of this corn. So we're going to go. We're going to see how much we can get. Maybe we can fill that thing up. I forget what the capacity is, but I think it's an incredible amount. So anyway, all right, we're chopping corn. Don't know if that's something that a lot of you do frequently. I typically do not. I am a grass silage type of person, so I rarely, in fact, I think this is the first time since FS22 came out that I've actually even purchased a forage harvester. How sad is that? But yeah, all right. I believe our baler's done, so let's bounce over there. It is. Tell you what we'll do. We'll clear that course. All right, we ended up, how about that? We ended up with 209 bales total today. That's pretty darn good. And I think I remarked before that I believed that we were going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of 260 at the rate at which the animals were consuming food before to get through the winter and well into the next year. And now that I've reduced the food consumption amount, 211 bales now. So 211 bales should be more than enough to get us through and into spring. So it makes me kind of wonder, do I really need to bother with rejuvenating this grass? I do need to plow those fields, so I'm thinking maybe we might just move forward with some of that. All right, I'm going to pull this off to the side. Everything here is dirty, needs to be cleaned up. It's pretty filthy. But, all right, did good. Let's get the menu out of the way. Let's see. What else do we have going on? So, all right, we're just about full here, so we can take another load of bales to the shed, so to speak. All right. And I believe when I started this round, I think there's one more load on this field yet, and then it'll be done. So I'll tell you what, I am going to dump this at the bale barn, bring this thing back, get this last load of bales off the field, and then I'll be with you. Be right back with you when we're ready to move on to kind of what's going to be our last activity for today. Be right back. Okay, everybody, we're back. One small chore before we move on to the last chore for today. Our chaff trailer is full, so we need to unload it. Before we do that, though, I'm going to come over here and hook up to the other trailer that we have. We have two of these. This way I can go ahead and connect this one to the forage harvester, allow it to keep going, and we'll bring the full one back and dump it. Okay. Yeah, it didn't get very far at all before it filled up. So yeah, I have a suspicion we're not going to come anywhere close to harvesting or chopping this entire field. This is a massive field, which means that then whatever we don't chop, we'll simply harvest with a harvester and stick in our silo. And we are picking up the last of the bales. I believe there are 26 left, and then that field will be empty. Okay. Tell you what we're going to do here. I'm going to stop right here. Pull off to the side. Run up here and disconnect. Actually, yeah, we're going to have to hooked up to that. All right, let's get the tractor hooked up to this trailer, this full one, get it out of the way, and then this guy can get back to work. And go. Okay. Oh, so I did purchase the soil information for all of these fields, and as you might imagine, it's ugly. But what makes it even more ugly is our friend JD. He apparently didn't do well in terms of the fields that he chose or the location for his farm, because he has about 90% silty clay. Yippee. All right, 52,000 liters of chaff. Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, two loads is 100,000 liters. So wow. So wow, so that means 20 loads would be 1 million liters, if that silo even holds 1 million liters. I cannot believe that we would need more than 1 million liters of silage to get through a winter, but who knows, maybe, well, I guess we'll keep chopping as long as it's reasonable to chop. And as I said, perhaps we'll put in another fermenting silo if that's necessary. All right. Here we go. Okay, let's go to productions, chaff silage, and activate. Perfect. I have no idea how quickly this thing works, but I guess it really doesn't matter. It's working. Perfect. Wait a minute, I did want to take one more look at that. So that's 51,000 liters, and that's probably about, that might be 10%, right? So, yeah, we might be putting in another one of those fermenting silos here. We'll just see. Okay. In the meantime, let's get this bad boy back over to close to the field, and we can be ready for the next load. All right, and it looks like our bale trailer's full. So, tell you what, I'm going to take care of that. Excellent. I tell you what, I'm going to unload these bales. Probably unload another load or two of chaff, and I will be back with you one more time while we finish up today's activities. Okay, we're back, everybody. We have managed to get all of the bales created and put up in the hay barn, and it was, ooh, ouch. It was a good thing because look what we've got. We've got a bunch of rain. It's pouring. But one thing I've discovered, and as soon as it started raining, I thought, oh crap, what am I going to do? Because the forage harvester is running. But apparently, the setting that says stop harvesters while it's raining doesn't affect forage harvesters because it is still chopping corn. So anyway, all the hay's picked up, it's put away, we're still chopping corn, and I decided, well, why not? It's pouring, we shouldn't be doing this in the rain either, but we're going to. We're gonna lime our grass fields here, or at least give it a go. So let me get this set up and get it moving. Let's see, interestingly enough, this is a base game spreader, and I've never used it. Let's say 12 meters. We'll add some rough headlands. We'll do 2. I'll do smooth. Go ahead and do a little bit of overlap. Don't think we need to skip field margin. I'm going to go ahead and back this off quite a bit so that we catch all those pesky corners. Okay. See how quickly this goes down. All right, not too bad. So it's going to do its thing. While it does, I'm going to cycle this. Let's see, pick up, deliver, 107. Bear with me, folks. Essentially what I'm attempting to do here is see if I can get this thing to automatically go back to the lime station at the farm and reload itself when it runs out of lime. Yeah, we'll see. 107, lime station, fill with lime, and Courseplay is activated with the last waypoint. Excellent. So if I've done this right, as soon as it runs out, and it's doing pretty well so far, it should go back to the barn, reload, come back, and pick up where it left off. Yeah, we'll see how smart I am. You might be noticing that it isn't using lime very quickly. Well, there's a reason for that. It's not using lime very quickly because I found a way to universally reduce the amount of lime that is put down. So I found an XML file that controls that and cut it down to close to what the fertilizer usage is. I know that individual tools, sometimes you can adjust that, but I was able to find out where you can turn it down for the entire map. So yeah, and it looks like it's working. We've come halfway around the first headland. And it's still at almost 70%. So I don't know about you folks, but every time I'm liming these fields, I feel like it goes 30 feet, empties, and you have to refill it. Especially when you're using precision farming and you get to some of these poor soil types and you have to put down an excessive amount of lime. Anyway, we shall see. All right, let's check in on everybody else here. Not you. Okay. And our forage harvester's full, so we need to go ahead and deliver the empty trailer, pick up the full one, get it back here and empty it. And you will see that I've made an addition to the farm. I have added a second fermenting silo, and actually one that's a little bit bigger. Reason being, I had unloaded close to 200,000 liters of chaff into the fermenting silo, and I noticed that we were approaching half full. I would like to get a lot more than that, so I went ahead and put down a second larger fermenting silo. And my goal here, my objective here, is to fill both of these. And once I fill both of them, I think that should give us enough silage to get through our winter and hopefully through an entire annual cycle till we can get some more corn grown and wash, rinse, repeat, do all this again in the next year. All right, there's our forage harvester. Let's swap out trailers. So far this is going fairly smoothly. One thing I don't quite appreciate is the fact that this forage harvester only goes at 4 miles an hour. I don't know how much of that has to do with the fact I've got a trailer attached to it, but it doesn't move very quickly. So, all right. Okay, disconnect that. Move up. All right, get back here, get hooked up to the other trailer. Nearest waypoint, go. And also, while I was away briefly, I went ahead and set up a few more points on the Autodrive network so that I could deliver stuff like this chaff and the bales to the bale sheds without having to drive them myself. So fermenting silo 1, go. And you'll probably proceed to drive right through the corn. So far so good. Okay. Speaking of the fermenting silo, so let's see where we're at here. So fermenting silo 1, we've got 414,000 liters in. We're about not quite 2/3 of the way full. Guessing that's going to go to about probably about 600,000. And then here's our second silo. Yeah, it's moving along pretty good. Looks like we're going to get 60,000 liters with a one-to-one throughput. We're going to get 60,000 liters of silage per month, so 30,000 per in-game day, which I think should be close to sufficient enough to sustain us. Obviously, to use that, we're going to need to go shopping again. There is something we need. We need a food mixer, and I know just which one I want. The biggest one that they possibly have. All right, let's shut this off. We don't need that. Wonder if I can. Yeah, looks like I can, even though we don't have a PTO. Let's see if we can drive to the shop and pick that up with our trusty pickup truck. Bring that back here. Oh, still running, 12%. So we've gotten around a headland and a half with the adjustment I made on the lime, and we're still at 10%. Nice. Okay. Truck. Yeah, we've got that twine on there. It's okay. We'll leave it. Go to the shop, pick up our food mixer, and bring that back. I actually probably need to give the cows a little more food today anyway before this in-game day is up. I don't think we have enough to get through the night. Okay, hopefully this guy can get to the shop without having an accident. One of the things I struggle with is, down here, this thing is capable of going 90 miles an hour, but when you try to adjust the speed here, for whatever reason, I've tried alternate key bindings, and I just can't seem to get the Autodrive speed to reduce. So trucks like this tend to drive too fast, and they hit a sharp curve, and over they go. Although I do have the corner speed turned way down, so hopefully I'll get there without making too much of a mess. I can't bear to watch. All right, and we just finished emptying out our chaff into the fermenting silo there, so that's good, which is good because the forage harvester's already at 50%, filling back up. So we'll get back over here. I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere around, where is it? Oh, he's coming up on that corner. Okay. Might as well just get over here and get ready. For my Courseplay settings on this field, I had set it to sharp corners or sharp turns, and forage harvester is not liking that setting, as you can tell. Okay. All right, so I have to kind of intervene. All right, I believe our truck has made it to the shop. Oh, and our Massey is headed back to the farm, hopefully to fill up online. And there is our handy dandy food mixer. Let's get it back to the farm. And like I said, if nothing else, I'll just throw some hay in here for tonight to get these cows through until morning, and hopefully tomorrow or the next in-game day, second half of, well, no, probably won't be the second half of September, it'll be October. Hopefully we will be able to mix our first batch of TMR for these dairy cows and get them where they need to be. One thing I do want to check when we do get back, in fact, let's go ahead and just send this back. I want to check on the beef cattle. I've messed with beef cattle very, very rarely in FS22, and I thought I had seen that if you don't feed beef cattle TMR, that they don't reproduce. Their health has to be 100% to reproduce, and the only way to get it to 100% is to feed them TMR. Well, we'll see. I want to take a look at that and see where we're at. The other thing I want to kind of take a look at, we're really piling up on the manure and the slurry. Probably ought to come up with a solution for that. I did install the manure dealer mod that allows you, it's essentially a sell point for manure and slurry. That is installed, so if nothing else, JD can at least make a few bucks with his byproducts. Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. Beef cattle. So yeah, the health is only 18%. Oh no, the reproduction is already at 10%. So we have made some progress. So apparently that is not the case. You can just feed them hay and they will reproduce. Okay, that's good to know. Maybe then we can save the TMR for the dairy cattle and just keep feeding the Angus the hay. Works for me. I want to check on that Massey Ferguson and so, okay, well, how about this? Refilled with lime and headed back out. Excellent. Make sure it doesn't run into the truck on its way in, which is about what's going to happen. Okay. I'll take over. Let him get out of the way there. Yeah. Perfect. He's headed back to the field to continue spreading lime. All right. Well, there's really only one more thing that I need to hold you folks up with today, and that is I'm going to go ahead and feed these animals. Get them a little more hay, so that we can make sure that we get them through the evening. And then I think I'm going to cut you loose while I continue to work. Really want to do my best to get those fermenting silos as full as I possibly can. Get those grass fields limed, and do a couple of other little odds and ends, a couple of other little chores before we move on to the next day. All right, here, let's see, can I have to get this thing out of the way. Okay. And can I back? Oh, there's articulated trailers. Backing these things up requires far more concentration than I am capable of at most at most times. Okay, let's grab some square bales. Let's see. We'll pull out. So they're 9,000 a piece. 10 would be 90,000. That's way too much. 8 would be 72. Yeah, let's just do 8. Let's start. Okay. Load these up, and then we'll take them over to the great. Take them over to the cow barn, grab our bale spike, and start chucking these things into the food mixer. Might as well shut that off. Let's go over here and grab my telehandler. I don't know how I ended up with it up here. That's the whole point of having 2 telehandlers on the property. Oh, I know what it was. I used my handy dandy little auto load bale spike there to collect all those bales from that small field that are sitting out there now getting wet. I can show you how this thing works. It's kind of cool. Let me get my menu up. Oh, you know what? I better do. Didn't think about this. I could probably turn this on with the truck, but that's not very accurate. So let's do this. Just disconnect that. Back this up out of the way. Let's hook the tractor up to the food mixer. And turn it on. Perfect. Okay, so start auto load. And basically I should be able to come up here to these bales. Whoops. Yeah, as I run into the trailer. So you just drive up to the bales, but you have to be facing them pretty square from the side. You cannot approach them from the end. There's 4. And then they just magically jump onto the bale spike. Bring them over here to the food mixer. Whoa. My telehandler skills aren't exactly what you call mad. Alright, and unload bales. And boom, they fall right, whoops, they fall right into the, right into the mixer. Just hope that one doesn't fall out of the mixer. There it goes, okay. Alright. Let that go ahead and mix down a little bit, and then we will pull in here, and there we go. $23.8. Gosh, I thought this thing had... Oh, you know what? Darn it. Okay. All right, where's my trigger? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Oh boy. There it is. Okay. Excellent. Okay, where are we at here now? About 70,000. I think I'm going to throw some more in there. How's the straw looking? Oh, the straw's great. Okay. Okay, let's just go on back around. We'll throw another load in there. And make sure these guys have a good amount of hay to get them through the evening. And I see our forage harvester's full again. I won't put you through that. Alrighty, 2 more times. Excellent. Okay, folks, I'll tell you what, that is going to wrap it up. Mercifully, for what I presume is the month of September. I do not believe I will have a second day, so next time we're together, it would be October in game. I believe that the corn that we haven't chopped should be ready to harvest. So we will jump into the field and take care of that. And that'll be it for me for now. Again, thank you all so very much for joining, for your time, your patience, for putting up with all of my monkey business. If you like what you saw today, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like what you saw today, well, I'd appreciate that, knowing that too. Please feel free to leave me a comment. And by all means, if you haven't subscribed, I would like to encourage you to do so. I'll see you next time, folks.